Who rules the city of Waterdeep? That is indeed a simple question with no simple answers. Our history may tell you that Waterdeep was ruled by the pioneering merchants and warlords. Some would point out that it is the nobles who truly pull the strings of the city. As a member of the Lord's Alliance, Waterdeep may be controlled by a council of the North that makes decisions for the city. In truth, no one knows who truly rules this city. Anyone can see there is only one who sits in the Palace of Waterdeep, but as a Waterdavian, I can assure you that there is not only one Lord of Waterdeep. There are Lords of Waterdeep. This may sound strange to those who do not call the City of Splendors home, but the city is ruled by the people. I mean that quite literally. The Lords of Waterdeep are everyday Waterdavians. They walk among you on the streets. They could be a guildsman practicing his craft, a priestess from the Temple of Lathander, a wizard residing in one of the towers, a merchant selling their wares at the trades ward, or even the dung sweeper who collects your chamber pots. Shrouded in secrecy, masks, and cloaks, the Lords of Waterdeep are among us, and, in unison, they have decided the policies for centuries that have made this city the crown of the North. No one knows exactly how many Lords of Waterdeep there have been, or are present at the moment. Their numbers are kept a secret, now more than ever. Even knowing their number would most likely result in one being imprisoned, or even executed. Some speculated that during the time of a Geron, there was a group of 5 to 7, but it is commonly thought that there are now at least 16 lords altogether, though no more than 7 have been seen on one occasion. When they do make an appearance, whether publicly sitting in judgment or council, all the masked lords have always been hidden by what they appear clothed in. This raiment renders each lord indistinguishable from the others, and it consists of 3 pieces: a helm, an amulet, and a robe, which makes up the lord's ensemble. The lord's helm is a bucket helm that covers the head and conceals the face, with a screen over the eyes that shrouds the identity of the wearer without blinding them. Those who wear the helm speak in a genderless voice, and some say it protects the wearer from spells of the mind that would identify them or read their thoughts. They also wear an amulet that bears the crest of Waterdeep, which shields the wearer from being located through magical means. The last piece is the Lord's robe, which allegedly makes all who wear it, regardless of their original stature, appear as a nondescript, androgynous humanoid of 6 feet in height. The names of these Lords of Waterdeep are the most tightly held secret. Some believe that only humans, elves, and their half-breeds have taken the mantle, but I would not put much faith in this rumor. These magical protections don't make the identities of the lords impossible to know for sure, only harder for the most persistent and inquisitive. Speculating who is a lord is a favorite pastime among the gossipy folk and the most devious plotters of Waterdeep alike. Blackmailing or buying their influence is certainly a way to gain power in the city, as some of the noble families might know. Among the prime suspects are Mert the moneylender, or someone in the money-lending trade, perhaps one of the Castellanters, or someone just as established in the business. The late Kelban Blackstaff is also assumed to be a lord, although some said that he had resigned from the post, while others believed he was later reinstated. There is a strong possibility that the current holder of the Blackstaff would likely be a lord too. Another favorite suspect is Durnan, owner of the famed Yawning Portal Inn, who is known to be a close associate of Mert from their adventuring days. Although some would find it impossible to believe that a man as unliked as Corylus Thans of the Vintners could be a lord, the number of times he has been let off the hook for his bigotry gives some credence to that speculation, or at least has the influence of one. Not all lords are expected to be of impeccable character. Of the dignified membership, only one lord, now nearly forgotten, but once known as Kerrigan the Arcanist, ever abused his power, and paid the price for his treason. After Geron had slain him and buried his remains, he cursed him to be remembered only as a traitor and to lie in the dust and never have a stone to decorate your passing. His final resting spot is the unpaved Kerrigan's Court in Adventurer's Quarter, where any stones larger than pebbles that touch the ground fly up again to strike the person placing them there. Numerous attempts were made to remove the curse, but many of the city preferred to not disturb this still active legacy of the city's founder. The only one who was closest to the truth was the secret organization known as the Knights of the Shield, who discovered the true identities of 3 lords during the Year of the Wave, before they were brought down by Open Lord Geron, Paladin's son, and Kelvin Blackstaff. Finding out the identities is hard, especially when anyone can go around claiming to be a lord. This is a dangerous practice, however, for the penalty of impersonating a lord is immediate execution. Among the lords, there is always one open lord who wears no mask when conducting the daily businesses of the city. The open lord is generally recognized as both the spokesperson and symbolic leader of the city. It is said that the Open Lord is selected and supported by several of the Masked Lords, and Waterdeep has seen 6 Open Lords throughout its history. Geron, the first Open Lord, ruled wisely for more than 2 centuries before the magic sustaining his health failed, and he died in the Year of the Dusty Throne. The old mage was laid to rest in his tower, which has been secured against thieves and fools by the most potent protective magic that many believe remains inviolated to this day. Geron's tower can still be seen standing in the courtyard of the Palace of Waterdeep, and his wise rule is celebrated on the first day of Alesis, which has come to be known as Geron's Day. Baron Silmaril became the second Open Lord in the Year of the Wagon, and restored the Lord's rule in the city. It was he who appointed the first Magisters, outlawed the Shadow Thieves, expanded the city's borders, and added the North and Sea Wards to the city. It is also said that during his time he increased the number of lords in the city. Baron would die of a fever in the Year of the Catacombs, and was joined by his living wife in the funeral pyre. Baron's daughter, Lahestin, the Masked Lady, would be the third Open Lord in the Year of the Fist, after she married a powerful mage from Neverwinter named Zelfar Erunson. Her rule was the shortest among the Open Lords, for she died in the Year of the Shadowtop, shortly after her own husband's death at the hands of evil sorcery. The Palace of Waterdeep remains as her only legacy during her reign. Before her death, though, Lahestin had already named an officer of the city guard as her successor. Geron Paladinson would be the 4th Open Lord of Waterdeep in the same year of Lahestin's death, and Waterdeep would see one of its most glorious years alongside its most challenging. After Geron's death, Daggelt Dagger Neverwinter was made the next Open Lord in the Year of the Ageless One. Despite striking an imposing figure as a tall, broad-shouldered, impressive lion of a man, Daggelt was a master manipulator and had the wiles of a strong ruler. Already one of the richest men in Waterdeep when he became Open Lord, there were rumors that he had embezzled 500,000 dragons and hid them in a secret vault before he was ousted in the Year of the Warrior Princess. Our newest Open Lord is Larold Silverhand, wife to the late Kelvin Blackstaff, who reluctantly stepped into the position after Daggelt was removed. Long thought to be dead, along with her husband, she has never entertained any questions about herself or her family. Some of the elves who lived in the city since the last century claim that she has become more reserved than she was before. Being ruled by a secret council of rulers may not be the most ideal form of governance from the point of view of other cities, but the fact that the lords are undiscovered and undiscoverable makes for an air of security in the city. Those with nothing to hide feel confident that a lord may be around when needed, while those breaking the law are never sure that the person they are confiding in will not soon be sitting, masked and concealed, on the bench to judge them. As the Masked Lady herself once said, The lords exist at the sufferance of their consciences and the goodwill of the people of the free city of Waterdeep. Though their faces are hidden, their hearts are ever true to the city's welfare. All but the open lord are unknown, so to better be the everyman of the city, to represent and govern all people equally, to have no allegiance save to the city. By cloaking its rulers in secrecy, the city helps rule itself, for its rulers walk among you, ever hidden and watchful. Whether out of fear or respect, the citizens follow Lord's rule.